Hi, Cedar House families. It's Samantha. This is your musical theater family parent meeting. And at the end of this meeting, I'm going to give you guys a code word, and you are to email the Cedar House saying that you have watched the video, and you're going to type in that code word. And when you do that, that is you stating that you agree with the requirements for your students and for you guys as parents being involved in the production. I hope I remember to give you the code word. All right. The production at the Cedar House is very professional, and it's a really big deal for us. And so it's really not your typical elementary school production, which is why we need commitments from parents and students to make this happen. It it takes a lot of rehearsing and memorizing and saying, all right, we're in this all together to pull it all together and make it happen. We really believe that it is an important experience for your kiddos. We're teaching them to honor God with their gifts and talents and abilities, but to do them to the best of their ability for God's glory. And the Wing Feathered Saga is going to be amazing. I'm super, super excited about it. The kids are going to love it, and I believe it's also going to be a really meaningful story that will bring glory to God, and hopefully draw others to Him as they watch it, and our kids too. So just so you can understand about Bears, the Bears class, all the older students, are going to be a part of the production one way or another. They have an opportunity to just be a part of it during the Cedar House class hours, which is it's the afternoon class from 1 to 3, and not do any outside work. But they would just help build the sets and be a part of helping design things and just a collaborative work together to make this thing happen. Or they can sign up to be more a part of the production as far as being an actor, or they can work during the performance behind the scenes, backstage with props, costumes, during the performances, or lights and sound. And you guys have already communicated that with us, and if you haven't, make sure you do so that we can understand who's going where. But it's going to be a really great opportunity for these older students to work on this production, either which way they do it. Now, if they are a bear who has decided to help behind the scenes as far as anything backstage during a performance or lights and sound, then they are required to be at several of the outside rehearsals as well as the dress rehearsal and every single performance. So as you're looking at dates and calendars and listening to the rest of this meeting, keep that in mind to make sure that's in line with what you've signed your kids up for. All right, the outside of class rehearsals, they are for all performers. These are the ones that all performers, if they are on stage, they must be available for one Friday a month or one Sunday a month. And we will get that schedule out, and typically it's going to be Sunday afternoons. Fridays will be during the day, and those dates will be given to you the beginning of January before we start Cedar House, so that you can put those on your calendar. But we are asking right now before auditions for any Friday or Sunday conflicts that you already have, that you know that you have for next semester. Let us know now what they are. And some have put you don't know of any at the moment. So we are taking that as, all right, so we are asking you to keep these open. So as of January, when we get that schedule out, and we've already handed out parts for the audition, that you guys are going to keep those dates open that we hand out in January for your students to be there and available. Now, if someone is sick or if there's a death in the family, we completely understand for emergencies. But we are talking, they're not going to go to gymnastics instead of coming to the rehearsal that we have planned on the schedule. Now, and that's all students. Now, some of those Fridays and Sundays we will ask closer to the production time for the bears that are helping just behind the scenes and backstage doing props and lights and sound. They'll need to be available for some of those. Now, every lead role, solo, speaking part needs to be available on Tuesdays in the spring, all the way until the production, from 4 to 6, to be able to work on individual scenes or numbers that we have to work on. Now, we're not going to call everybody every week. We will, a week before each Tuesday, we'll say, all right, we're calling this scene and this scene. That's what we're going to work on after class from 4 to 6. And we're going to ask you guys to be available for that. And so we need to know now if there are any of those Tuesdays that you will not be available or your student will not be available that before auditions. It's just an example to help you guys understand. So if your student decides in February to sign up for gymnastics, and we've already got everything on the calendar and scheduled, and then you come to us and say, oh, Susie is not available for this rehearsal because she started gymnastics and they've called us for a gymnastics meet. We are asking now that we be the priority. We need to know the conflicts that we're not, what conflicts you have at the moment. So that we can make an educated decision on what parts and what roles we can give each student and what would fit best with your schedule and the schedule that we have laid out for the production. Now, parents, other than getting your students to rehearsal, the things that we're asking of parents are responsible for costumes. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to design them. We design them and we share with you, this is what the costume should look like. Those are the pieces that you need, and then we need you to piece these things together and make them work. We realize not every parent is a seamstress, and so we will keep that in mind as we come together with these items. And some things the students will create in class. But for the majority as a whole, you're in charge financially and actually go and get and put together the costumes. You also have a role of paying $50 for each student involved in the production, and that is due in January, and this just helps cover some extra costs that come along with the production. And then each family needs to set aside and sign up in January for a set building / prop creating workday, and that would last 4 hours long, and we'll have different options available, and you would sign up for one of them, and there'll be a link for that in January. Now, for auditions, they're on Tuesday, and we had set aside originally 2 days for auditions, and so what's happening is this Tuesday everyone is auditioning, and then the following Tuesday that was on the schedule, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, keep that still set aside because we will possibly be calling back some students if we need to see them together and have them read something a little more in depth so that we can make a better decision. And so do keep that in mind. Now, when Laura sent out the audition time slots, it originally said 3 to 5, but we have to get all of the kids out of the Cedar House, and we're a part of that. All of the directors are a part of getting all the kids checked out to go home. And so we will start our auditions at 3:15 and they'll go till 5:15. We're asking that your student shows up to audition 15 minutes before they're supposed to audition. So they're there and available. And they're coming with a monologue that's 30 seconds to a minute long, and a song that's between 16 to 32 bars, which is usually a verse and a chorus, or just a chorus if that's what they know. We will send out a sample audition for you guys to show your kiddos, so if they've never auditioned before, what that looks like. We'll be having auditions at the stage, and there will be 4 directors watching them: myself, Miss L-Dub, Miss Katie McCaslin, and then Miss Alyssa. It will be a really good experience for them. This is a learning opportunity. It is not something to grade them and things like that. It's helped them to learn. If you have a student who loves to audition or wants to do more of this in the future at other places, I do recommend that you try and come up with a headshot picture. A headshot is a picture of them, of their face, and then also a resume. You can look for audition resumes online and just kind of make up one for your student based off of what you see. And that is a learning tool for them, help them understand what it would be like. So when they walk in, they would hand it to us, maybe put it in a little folder, staple it together with a headshot on the top. And then they would come in, stand on the stage, state their name, what pieces they're auditioning with, what song, what's the name of the monologue, and then they would share it. Performance ready is what we're looking for. That they have been working on this and they have it memorized and they know it well. But that is not a requirement, because this is a really like a learning opportunity for the kiddos, and not every kid is like going to be doing this all the time or in other places, but it is we are a safe place for them to practice and learn how to do a professional audition. And we can talk about that with them as they come in and audition. And yeah, so I believe that is everything. Oh, one thing. We have made a couple of changes to the calendar, and so I want you guys to know about that up front. We are moving the dress rehearsal and the performance forward, not back, but forward a week. And so the dress rehearsal will be still from 2 to 10 on March 23rd, which is a Thursday. And then the performance will be March 30th, which is a Thursday, March 31st is a Friday, and April 1st, which is a Saturday. This is not an April Fool's joke, I promise. And the rainout performance, which I don't believe we've stated anywhere on anything, is April 20th is a Thursday, April 21st is a Friday, or April 22nd, which is a Saturday. And all of this will be put in hard copy form. We'll fix the calendar, resend it out to you guys, so these dates are on hard copy for you guys. And the other thing is, we will get the script out in December, around December 1st, and they will have part of all of December and part of January to have their songs and their lines memorized. When they come back, one thing that they are committing to do is that if we assign them a role, they are committing to have it memorized by January 17th, which is when we come back for classes. It is very important, not coming back, holding a script, kind of halfway know it. They are committing when they receive and accept a role. That is very, very important, because us working with them 1 day a week for 2 hours is not a lot of time. So we don't have time to have them go over it and over it, over it enough for us to be a part of the memorization process. We will work with them on acting. We will work on them on where to stand and how to portray the character, and how to use diction and how to sing, as far as like if they're having some struggles with some notes and things like that. But we are not there to work with them on memorizing the words of the song or memorizing the tune of the song. That is something that needs to be worked on outside of class and at home before the 17th. And I'm also available if they need a little extra outside time to work on something. If they're having a struggle with something, I'm very available to work outside of class time or ahead of time beforehand. Anyway, and just to give you a heads up, this is not a requirement, but as we get closer to January, if we see that we are ready and the schedules are open for the directors, we may take a day before class starts and offer up an extra rehearsal to get some blocking done. But again, we don't have it on the calendar and we're not requiring that. And so if we send out something like that, we'd love for you to be available, but you don't have to feel like, oh my goodness, that was on the calendar and now they've added something. Just know that we're possibly going to do that. But if it works in your schedule, awesome. If it doesn't, then we understand. Although that may be our January 1, which is, on a Friday or a Sunday. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. If you have questions, send them my way. Your code word is baby donkey. Code word is baby donkey. So you are to email that to the Cedar House, and that is letting us know that you watched this video and you agree with what we're saying as far as the requirements for theater, and you're all in. Thanks, guys. See ya soon.